Morning. So it is now the 23rd of December, and this was supposed to be my backup day. And following on from the last video, obviously the Wednesday of last week, I wasn't able to do a job, so I put it onto this week or today, and it is just torrential rain. It's saying 100% in my area till this afternoon, or certainly it's about to get dark when it stops raining. So I have called it. Some of the other jobs I've got to do is just drain the fuel out of, actually yesterday as I used the Time Master and the 56, I drained the fuel out and then let it run. All I need to do now is just take the bowl off just to get the last little bit out. There is fuel still in the billy goat, which I would have been using today, so I'm going to need to get that out as well. It's a little bit harder with Honda engines, so I'll show you what I do now, which is a bit easier. So yeah, I need to get that fuel out as well, and I'm still trying to sort out some mowers for next season, and probably get some Aspen as well. I don't use Aspen because I just use so much petrol throughout the season that it would just be, well, my fuel costs would go up by 2/3, I think it is, roughly. So yeah, it's not great. But I'm thinking during the winter period, especially when I'm just servicing the mowers and I just want to start them up, I can just drop a bit of Aspen in, start the mower up, start the scarifier up, whatever it is, check they're running fine and all the rest of it. Then I don't have to worry about draining the fuel out again. I can just leave it in there, and then there's no issues. So I'm just going to unload the van for the final time this year. Okay, so the final week before sort of break up for the Christmas is always that game where I try not to spend any money on fuel. I want to try and use it all, you know, and as I finish with a particular machine, I get it out the machine, and so I can put it into another machine, and basically the idea is to end up with nothing left. Obviously I was expecting to do 3 hours of leaf blowing this morning minimum, so there is fuel in the blowers, the backpack and the billy goat, so I've got to get that out now. Obviously it going stale is a serious issue now, so I don't want it to, but it's not just that. I mean, you could have stale fuel, drain it out, get rid of it, and the engine would be fine. This new E10 stuff is sort of very corrosive if it stays in there too long, so it's even more important to get it out. So the first thing is the backpack blower. This is the new one, so I need to get that out. Everything else in here is drained out. I mean, that's what's brilliant about the Ego, is you can just fold it up there, and of course you haven't got to drain anything out. I have barely used the 41 this year, purely because I've been using the Ego instead. Great scarifier, that one, little tiny one you can pick up on your own, so that's empty. All the steel stuff at the back is empty too. The cannons, they've all been drained. The bowls have been drained as well, so they are winterized. So what I've been doing to get the fuel out is actually using a syringe like this. Okay, so that's the bowl there. It's a 13mm spanner. The only thing is there's going to be fuel in there which is going to come out. This box, this belt guard is in the way, so I'm going to take this off just to give me a bit more room to get a tray in there just to catch that fuel. So when you take the guard off, this is quite a common sight. In the last month, the height mechanism broke, so I've had to use a cable, a bungee cord to keep the height on, because it just bounces around and drops down the whole time. So while I'm here, I'm just going to clear this out as well, even though it's not really what I'm doing today, but I may as well as it's off. Now by doing that, I've just created a bit more of a gap so I can stick a tray in there to catch any fuel. Okay, so it's not the easiest thing to do. So like most things, it's a bit fiddly. What I've noticed over the years is these bowls, they sit there and like the gasket, the rubber seal round it, they can perish, and then if they have perished because they've not come off in so long, when you take the bowl off, they tear. So my advice is, if you're not sure, my advice is probably take them off regularly. Then that won't happen. But if you're not sure, then hold the bowl on. If the bowl comes off, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it's the 23rd of December. I'm not really going to be doing regular mowing now until next year. So I've got plenty of time to sort one out if it does tear. The bowl's actually quite loose. There we go. So although the bowl's pretty dirty, it's pretty immaculate inside, and there's a little drop in there, so actually there's not a great deal after all of that, but it's worth trying it, checking it out. Okay, this is the Honda engine on the blower, Vidigo blower. And I said actually Hondas were a bit harder to access when draining the fuel out. On the blower it seems to be a lot easier than on the scarifier and the aerator. So basically this is the fuel pipe here, so all I need to do is disconnect that, and then I can drain it into a funnel down here. So there is no real need to use the big syringe to get it out. So okay, so this is nice and clear and open, so it makes more sense on here. So basically, if you release this here, this bolt here, or nut, whatever you want to call it, bolt I suppose, it's a 10mm. That will release what's in the bowl, but you will still have a little bit in here, so then you'll need to release that one. What you might find is actually you've got some decent fuel in here which will come out of here, but the sediment and the crappy stuff will sit in the bottom. So what I would suggest is probably the best thing to do is, if you want to reuse the fuel, and I know that this is fresh fuel because it's the autumn and I'm topping it up daily, the stuff in here, if there is any, is going to be quite good stuff. So I'm going to recycle this and put it back into the fuel, but then I'm going to use that one, and that stuff's just going to go into the waste pot, because I'd imagine there's a bit of crap in there. Okay, so it's about 1 o'clock on the 23rd of December, and I think that's pretty much done. All the fuel has been drained out of everything. In the last couple of videos you saw me talking about getting some new mowers. Well, yeah, Christmas has come early. So what we've got here is a new 56 and a new Time Master. The only problem is I've got them, they need to fit in that gap. So actually they went in perfectly fine. So that's it then. That's all done. The reason for the new 56 and the new Toro Time Master now is that every dealer I've been speaking to have said that Hayter Toro are putting up their prices of January 23. So they were mowers that I was probably going to end up buying at some point during next season, because I've had the other two mowers quite a long time now, particularly the Time Master, and it normally something happens to it during the season, and then trying to replace a 30-inch mower with a 21-inch mower, actually there's quite a lot of difference in that. So yeah, time wise I just want a little bit of reliability this season. Also, when there's two of us out mowing, it means that we can have two people out of the Time Master doing the big lawns or the bigger areas, and obviously if I have any breakdowns then I've got a spare mower as well. So that's really the reason for it. And same with the 56 as well, that sort of is on its last legs, I would say, so that's going to be the spare mower for next season. So as I say, that's it. That's all, folks. There's nothing, that's me done now till January the 3rd, and actually normally try to take things easy in January, but because of the weather from the rain of November, and then obviously the snow of last week, the knock-on effect. Plus, extra work, just people wanting jobs done. I've got a few turfing jobs as well. January actually is going to be really, really busy from start to finish. So yeah, hopefully the weather will play ball. But I just want to thank you now for watching, supporting the channel. It means a lot. I did a podcast with the Green Grind, which is a Corey Ballard thing, last week. I thought maybe I might gain a few more subscribers. Somehow I managed to lose 10. So if you know where they are, can you find them and ask them to come back? And if you're not a subscriber, then maybe you might think about doing it. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the content this year, and have a great Christmas, and I'll see you next year.